Hello everyone. Just gonna give a second for other people to hop in. If anyone is gonna hop in. Streaming a little early today. Just hopped on the charts. I'm gonna be reviewing a past stream from Tuesday, I think, right? No, I don't know why it says the 25th. That should have been the 30th. Yeah. Basically, yeah, I want to review this video. I'm gonna watch it at 2 times speed, and I made a lot of mistakes executing. My model was there and it won. I just didn't execute it properly, and there were some emotional mistakes I made that led to that. And I just want to, journal it, but also I want to rewatch my stream, and this is just my way of journaling it. Is so I can see literally every little detail that went wrong. And since it's been a couple of days, I'm able to do this well, outside of any emotion. And for those of you that might not have, or might have been expecting me to stream, I did not stream the past 2 days. I did still trade. I just wasn't feeling like streaming. I just decided to do other things in the morning and then trade alongside that. So also there was a government shutdown, so there was no economic news. We were supposed to get NFP, but we're not getting it this morning. So it's just about 8:30. And if you're wondering why you can't pass your funded account, because a lot of people full port NFP, it's because it is none. So it's not gonna come out. It's supposed to, but it's not gonna come out. Government shutdown because it's lacking funds. So lacking funds to pay its employees. So economic data is often released when this happens, as it just happened today. That being said, I won't be trading my 2025 model. I'll still be trading my other model around 9:30 open and LP. But other than that, I won't be trading anything else today. I'm just gonna be reviewing the stream, and yeah, that's it. I'm just kind of giving a bit of time before I start and analyzing the market. But basically, we opened beneath midnight, so the only way I'm going to take a trade today is if 8:30 wants to dip a little lower beneath 8:30, or price right here wants to go beneath 8:30, and then from 9:25 in an hour to 9:30, that 5-minute window I'm going to buy it if price is beneath 8:30 and midnight. Okay, so just going to simply wait until that time. In the meantime, let me pull up the stream. At the top, TOP, I'm up. Vibes on me like pop. Pushing around, walking. Touch me, I'm too hot. Hermits out of vault. There's coming crop. Rockstar going my life. Alright. I was listening to a song. Truth, I didn't want it to end. But at the pause it, we're gonna be watching this now. So. I'll start with 2 times speed, but I want to make sure the stream can hear it. So. Wait. Alright. Stream should be able to hear this. stream cannot hear it.
London kind of made a move.
There you go.
And swept out that low here. And that's not.
Alright,
What's up,
let me
Omar?
test that audio.
Hey, you got notifications. Good job. I was looking at your video, by the way, of your data. And one of your trades is similar to this, where we had consolidation.
There you go.
Swept out that low here. And that's not.
Alright,
What's up,
let me
Omar?
test that audio.
Hey, you got notifications. Good job. I was looking at your video, by the way, of your data. And one of your trades is similar to this, where we had consolidation.
There you go. Bruh.
I was looking at your video, by the way, of your data. And one of your trades similar to this, where we had consolidation.
I think that should be good. Bruh.
I'm seeing 1,000.
I'm just testing the audio.
Yeah, I got it at 90.5.
I think that should be good. Bruh.
So 60.75. That's fine. I'm seeing 1,000.
I'm just testing the audio.
Yeah, I got it at 90.5.
I think that oh, okay, nice. It should be good. Put myself up a bit too.
So 60.75. That's fine.
Alright. That should be fine. But if anybody has a problem with the volume, let me know. Alright. I see we got one viewer in here. Welcome to the stream. Basically today I'm just reviewing my last stream. I made a few mistakes. Emotional mistakes with my entry on a good trade, but I messed up my entry. So I'm just going back and seeing what's up. This day started with let me go back to the actual day. Tuesday. So on Tuesday there was 3 trades. Let me actually keep that here. First one was yo, what's up, Omar? First one was 9:30. No, wait, sorry, there was no trade on Tuesday. I did not take a trade. Right, I'm just making sure I didn't. I did. Oh, yeah. There was a long, because at 9:25, 9:30, we closed beneath 8:30. In my head, I was like, okay, this could be a pullback. You know, it could be a pullback and then go higher. I wasn't really trying to do any analysis. I just followed the rules. And, well, we did close beneath 8:30 at 9:28, 9:29. So I did go long and the trade lost. Arguably, maybe I shouldn't have went long. I know it's a gray area because it's within that window from 9:25 to 9:30. But the rules still gave me an entry within that window and I still took it. Wasn't comfortable taking it. Didn't have high conviction, but it is what it is. Because we had still manipulated. But this is exactly now what I want to talk about with my other model. There was 2 opportunities. This is the first sweep. The price run here that we swept right at 9:30. I'll have that dotted line. That's the sweep. As soon as we cross that dotted line and the body's closed beneath the body and at 8:10, I can now look for displacement to long. The problem with this sweep is not the higher quality sweep, but it's still good enough to the point where I have it within my rules because trades like this will still work. The thing that's not like A++ with this trade is it sweeps buy side. And everything, no matter how well you do it, will lose eventually. So I'm okay with it losing. I'm not trying to have a 100% win rate, but sometimes these trades will lose where, you know, the price run takes out a certain level of buy side. If we hadn't taken out this buy side here, if this consolidation wasn't here, this would have looked a lot less like AMD. This is accumulation, manipulation, and distribution to that exterior liquidity. And then we distribute once again to the exterior liquidity at the high. This was a very choppy day, but nonetheless my model still showed up. The second time it showed up was with the 940 price run from that low to that high. This is a much better price run because this high here at 940 945 didn't take out any measure of buy side. It pulled back inside a range, which it then used to go higher. Well, it traded above that range eventually. But I'm focusing on, if I'm getting in here, my TP would have been at the high of that price run, and I usually don't want that. I want the price run to help me support price to get to my next target. But nonetheless, trades like that might still work. So, enough to the point where it's worth me taking. So I still took it. Took it with one loss. I remember I took it with too much leverage. I couldn't afford to risk it for another trade, and so the other trade showed up, and I was kind of panicking because I couldn't afford to take the next trade, and it looked like, I've seen that happen many times before, but I had, I was pretty confident that next trade was way better, way higher quality, and the probabilities of it working were higher than the first trade. So I was disappointed myself that I took it with that much, and I remember I reset my account. In resetting my account, I didn't want to have done it for no reason, so I got in super early. Once we took out that, we had this huge range, and we closed above this bearish range from 948 to 954, and I assumed this was my breakpoint model, and then I got in way too early. It pulled back a little deeper. I don't think it should have pulled back all the way down to this 956 gap, but this is where it did pull back to, and it is what it is. I got taken out. Actually, there was also an inverse gap. I got taken out because I couldn't afford. I got in all the way up here, got out for a loss, got back in a little bit lower. I couldn't afford to have my stop at the low. And in truth, I did actually take this trade on my live, and I took it properly with my entry right at the inverse fair value gap. I didn't show this on my live stream, and my stop was just at the bodies, and then price came back later in the afternoon. My TP was just at that high right there, and price came back on me. I don't know why it's not. No, sorry, it was at these relative equal highs. It failed to go there, came back. If my stop was at the low, been fine, but hitting in the last hour, it is what it is. It's very unfortunate, and I only took it with one micro anyway, so it didn't really matter. And the next day, was fine because I had a win anyway, a big win, so it made up for all the losses and more. And it is what it is, the game of trading. And I felt better, and the day after that, I just took a break because my model had showed up 2 days in a row. I really didn't think we would have another setup. We didn't anyway, so it was a government shutdown. I don't know if Omar, we talked about that, the government shutdown. There's no NFP this morning. It was canceled because the government shutdown. They don't have enough funds to pay the employees, which is surprising because they could just create credit, by talking to any number of banks in the United States, but I don't know why that's not happening. Here's another example of this. This was my model yesterday, and this is the same thing as that first sweep I just talked about yesterday, where that first sweep was lower quality because it went from that low to that. Took out a measure of buy side above, all this consolidation, and then we swept that, and I would have looked for long. The problem is we're already distributing towards the lower end of the consolidation, and I'm trying to buy before doing that. So, but those were the rules. Still though, that sweep, same scenario Thursday. The price run that I was looking at had also taken out a measure of buy side, that consolidation there, and then ISM I think will still release. Only like unemployment related news, CPI, PPI, won't release. So anything that has to do with employment or inflation, like major inflation news like PPI and CPI, will not release. But I think ISM should still release. At least I don't know, because the thing is, TradingView says, I don't. It doesn't tell me. Maybe Forex Factory would tell me what's delayed and what's not. But anyways, this trade did win. I did take this on my live, and it is what it is. I was still profit for the week, but I had a really bad day Tuesday, and I just what I want to do until 9:30 opens. I'm gonna trade my NLP model at 9:30, but until then, I want to rewatch the stream. We're gonna do it 2x speed and skip forward to the parts where I make emotional mistakes, and I want to just showcase that and be able to look back on it in the future. I don't think the shutdown is permanent. No. It's just the last time it happened was during COVID. There's a lot of shit going on right now in the States, but I don't know exactly why. It feels like there's just no urgency, like we're missing something. I don't know. I'm reading an article though on Forex Factory. I guess temporary closed because of the ongoing government shutdown. Until Congress approves funding, the bureau's more than 2,000 employees will remain furloughed, unable to release any reports. So I don't even know if we're gonna get ISM. And there's also earnings coming up, so I think just a lot of the money's gonna be on the side right now. Failure to reach a funding agreement for the deadline. What the heck? Oh my god, this is I guess they couldn't agree. Bro. 2 deals, one from Democrats, the other from Republicans. Damn. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, to be honest. I'll have to keep up with that later on, but a lot of things are going on in the States. I think it's just Trump trying to be Trump. We'll see what will happen. Anyways, doesn't bother us. I'm still gonna do everything the same. Let's just start the
But
stream.
so far, I like how London kind of made a move lower and swept that low here.
So yeah, what I'm pointing out is, like, I try not to give my bias when I trade, but well, I do give my bias a lot, and I'm right often, but it has nothing to do with how I trade. So whether I'm buying or selling, or trying to, follow the rules, that has nothing to do with what I think is gonna happen. So the U.S. government shut down because the Reds and Blues couldn't agree on how the fund should be used. Yeah, so Congress, because I don't know, there was a deadline for, I don't exactly know what the deadline is for exactly, but just a spending plan. I don't know if the government's out of money or something, or I don't think the government is necessarily out of money. I just think that they have that whatever spending is going to be done by the government needs to be approved. So it's not that I was told it was a lack of funds. I was like, what? Like, lack of funds? They could just create credit, with any number of banks in the States. But I think it's more so there's a disagreement with how those funds should be spent, and yeah, whatever. I hope they figure it out so I can get back to my trading. Either way, there are earnings reports coming up too, I heard, and that should be around November. So I think a lot of people are looking ahead to that. These are going to be big earning reports, especially since we're basically on the brink of a recession. And the Federal Reserve have started cutting, so it's going to be a few months into the cutting cycle, and there's next few earning cycles, like this one and the next one are going to be huge, I think. Anyways, there's some dust on the desk. I hate dust. Anyways, I'll have to clean.
No, it's not. What's up, Omar?
So here
Wait,
I'm basically saying London.
I was looking at your video, by the way, of your data.
And
So
I'm
that also means that
expecting
prices will
higher
not continue
prices.
seeking lower past this area
But
of liquidity.
what I didn't well, we had built up trend liquidity. So I see 930 dump and take all that out. We're incredibly oversold, and I'm looking for those relative equal highs, all that bunched up liquidity to be traded to. That's what I would prefer. If I had a bias and I was trading with my bias, that's what I would try and aim for. So I was hoping for my model to show me an entry long, a 5-minute sweep.
And we do have liquidity built up. So that is
So I'm pointing out here, and matter of time before I point out that price run. I'm doing my thing.
Yeah, it was possible because it was liquidity built up, but I still think we're bullish for the day. $10 a.m. would distribute probably. That's what I'd like. 10 a.m. news. So that volatility from 9:30 is reserved for 10 a.m.
So here I've marked out the sweep.
I want to see how we're
Nothing
gonna
is
place.
wrong with this
If we're
first
gonna
trade.
trade this low and leave a lot of space between the low and our prices, then I'd be bearish. But if we're gonna quickly come down here, sweep it, start consolidating or pulling back, I'd be more bullish.
Yeah, it's basically me just, over here, we sweep low, we turn. If we had showed more displacement, like much with aggressiveness and speed, then I would have been worrying. And I would have been looking to kind of like something like this, where we from like 425. Basically, I didn't want to see too much distance between that low and this low. And
I like what we're seeing because
to
we're going
find
back, leaving all
support
bricks.
after trading to the lows.
Never mind.
And here's where I go into the 1-minute chart, waiting for a fair value gap or any sort of displacement. Let me go ahead to
On the fair value gap, we'll just sweep that 5-minute short-term price swing. From hourly perspective to overall the trend is higher, or well, we're more keen down.
just get us skipping forward. We're gonna watch it at 4 times speed. I really want to just get to more so the second trade. That's when I start making all the emotional mistakes.
See, like this because it's clear we're not looking to go further past that low, and you wouldn't really look for this pullback either. It doesn't usually happen where price pulls back after taking out liquidity, and then continues to go lower. Usually you want to see it pull back after it digs lower and then pull back around the area where liquidity is. Right now I'm just looking for a nice gap to enter on. Looks like I got one there. I almost entered on the 30-second chart on the 941 candle, but I wanted to wait for a better gap.
Yeah, I was gonna enter here.
Better area.
I didn't like that gap. I waited for a better entry. So here's where I'm drawing out the trade, doing it well. The stops at the low.
I'd be aiming for.
Nothing's wrong with that. Let's go forward to when I enter the trade. So here I'm about to enter the trade. I get in a little high, which is fine. My stop still needs to be beneath that swing low.
Okay, I got in at
my mouse is on
90.5.
the one right here.
So 60.75. Yeah, it's fine.
Could I have waited for a better entry? For sure.
I don't want to look at it here. I want to look at it from here. It'll be easier.
But as long as I can get my stop beneath the low, it's
right
fine.
there, that high. 3.48 RR. Now my stop should be at this low, but because it's a wick, I really don't think it's gonna come all the way down here. I can't really afford to put it down there, but whatever. I took the risk of missing out on the trade. Or I wasn't willing to accept the risk of missing out on the trade in order to get a better price. But
here's the first mistake is I used the word think. I really don't think it's gonna come down here. And that's every time I've used that word this year, most of the time it worked out, but some of the times it doesn't work out and it does go down there. And sometimes it'll go down here and then it'll still end up winning. So I mean, I shouldn't take any chances, because when that does happen, when it hits my stop, just like it did, you know, in the trade, and that after we sweep this level here, inverse our value gap entry, right? Let's say I put my stop right at the body and I target some highs. This shit would hurt if it comes all the way back to my stop after getting this far from hitting TP and then still ends up working. Doesn't happen often, but it can happen. So this is where I say I don't think it will come down here and until it ends up coming down there, and then what happens? Then I get super emotional. I get angry with myself. I start doing stupid mistakes on the charts. I try and risk more to make back what I lost, because I shouldn't have lost it in the first place. Or at least that's what I tell myself. So yeah, it's a bad word, think. I should do a mile every time I use the word think while I'm trading. A mile run. Looks like I'll have an entry too for NLP, my other model. So as soon as 920, 925 comes around, I'm gonna enter on this, but we're gonna have something like that with the 30 points. Oh, whoa, 30 point stop. That's it's a large portion of the daily range.
That's a draw.
We'll go for a straight 3 or something like that, because there's no other high I can target. So yeah, this trade loses.
Close my
Nothing
position
wrong
for some
with
reason.
this.
And put it at that low though. That's where it should be anyway.
I move my stop, which is fine.
But this is looking. Honestly, if it comes down and loses, there could be another setup too.
I move my stop to where it should have been, so it's fine. So I'm not moving it lower just because I didn't want to lose, but also because I wanted to follow the rules.
Nah, I don't know about this. This isn't looking good. It's continuously seeking that opening of the candle, which is not showing us anymore. I'll leave this up. Yeah. Dang.
There you go, that's a loss.
Oh. And I mean, there's another. If we have another fair value gap, then I can technically go long.
So right away, I'm noticing, okay, this could be another opportunity to go long and trade again. Problem here though is, I risked 1,000 on that first trade, and I can't trade anymore. Like, I've reached my daily loss limit. So what happens is the account balance is $700. If it hits break even, I lose the account challenge. It's fake money. It's you know, until I pass the challenge, it's fake money. And even once I pass and I get the account, the funding account, there's some rules. So I don't like trading prop firms because of all this, the rules. It's like they're built for you to, like, make it hard for you to make money with them. I'm not saying it's impossible to make money with funding accounts, prop firms, but it just the way they set up their challenges, their evaluations, and then their rules to get a payout once you pass the evaluations, and you can actually have some of the money you made. It's just it's built in a way where they're trying to make it hard for you, right? And I get it, but it's still, when you trade on live, there's a different feeling a feeling of accomplishment, and you really don't understand it until you've been trading on live consistently enough. Like when I make a trade and I know that money's mine and I can withdraw that money right now if I want to, it's a different feeling that honestly caused me to do a lot less mistakes and be a lot more content and compassionate with my performance. But you know, I can't after $700 before I lose the account. I just said, you know, I'm gonna reset it. So I reset it. I took this next trade, but resetting it could have been an emotional decision. You know, It was emotional. I don't think it was a bad decision. Because I really couldn't have. I had one more trade anyway to risk on, and if it wasn't gonna, this trade happened twice in a row. So in my head, I'm like, it might not show up next week. It could show up once next week. I don't want to wait a whole week before risking $700 on one trade, and then I end up losing the account if it doesn't work out. So I just reset it.
Never mind. You're good.
I start seeing the inverse.
I reset the account because it's basically back to break even. Almost. It was not that far from break even. So, and then break even would have, because I already had profits, it would have meant the account's.
I really wanted to press that enter button right here. I don't know if I did, but I'm looking at my other monitor here, waiting for an entry.
Max loss is 1,000, and I risked 1,000.
And we don't close above the fair value
the gap inverses. I'm gonna enter, or second entry.
But as soon as the gap inverses, so I just said I'm gonna enter.
I'm in for long at.
Yes, right. I had already gotten in. That's what I thought. Yeah. So I literally got into a long, but I put my stop way too tight.
Yes, my top step account was like at $700 equity. So instead of like changing my personal lockout from over 1,000, I just reset it so now I can risk more, and
yeah, so I just said
it will put me in a better position anyway. 50 seconds. So you can do a countdown. No money. No wait, I didn't take the trade on the right account.
Oh yeah.
Previous account from before.
When I reset my account, so I had other practice accounts that were ineligible, and I don't know, I had canceled the subscriptions, but for some reason they're still there. I had no idea they were there, and for some reason when I canceled the subscription and reset that account, Top Step X switched to another previous ineligible account where it was a practice trade. So I got into that trade right at the entry there. Yeah, I did get in early. The price, once it closed above the gap, never came back to it. I got in early, had a tight stop, and I was kind of disappointed because at this point here, I realized, wow, I literally took this entry. I had forgotten about this, but this is why I go back. It makes sense why I was so emotional getting in at the high now, because I had literally gotten in at the right spot, and who knows, maybe I would have moved my stop down properly. I don't know. I don't think I would have, because it was already a lot of risk. But I had gotten in everything. It was on the wrong account, and it had started flying so much, and I was scared that it would leave without me. And in my head, it messes with my ego, right? When I see myself do the right things, all the right things, but then I still don't end up with the results I wanted, it fucks with me a little bit, because I should have made that money, but I didn't, and that messes with my ego. So when I see it come up here, okay, so I just realized over here you can kind of see
previous account from before. Let me just actually pull up my screen. I took the trade on.
Oh fuck! Keep fucking up.
I took on eligible previous account from before. Let me just actually pull up my screen. I took the trade.
Yeah, see how these two are ineligible? I'm on the right account, the 100K one, and I don't see any position. And then I go to the ineligible one.
This account is ineligible.
And then that's where I got in, right above the gap. As soon as we closed above the gap, I got in up here. Stop was at the bodies, so this would have worked pretty well. It would have went to my TP actually. Like this would have been a winning trade. I would have made 3K, and the next day I would have traded, taking that same trade I took here. I would have made 1.5 to 2K, and I'd be $1,000 away from passing my account, right? But instead, what I did was I took this trade on the wrong account, and then when I realized, I switched back to normal account. And now I'm doing the proper thing, right? My stops at the low. This would have worked. My entries right at the high of the inverse fair value gap, and I'm just waiting for price to now come into my area of entry. I'm hoping for it to find a bit of resistance here and pull back into some of these gaps. What ends up happening is it continues to, well, it fails to go lower. We'll see here in a second. I'm just waiting.
I wouldn't mind getting in here, but I'm scared it's gonna pull back too much. My stop should get that low. It's just, I don't know, it'd be hard for the to come all the way
I'm
back.
already thinking of getting in at the higher here. I'm thinking about, oh my god, getting in at the high. I should get in, but I'm like, no, that's not the rules. And at this point, it's going up even higher. Now I'm even thinking the thought of getting in right now is getting even stronger. To the point where I'm like, fuck, like it'll probably just keep running and never pull back. And I don't want that to happen, because if it goes off without me when I should have made money, like I had that money in my hands from down here, I had gotten in, but I got in on the wrong count. It feels like I got scammed, like I got played. Now I'm angry at the market and I want my money back. Because I got in on the wrong count.
This is like a break point now where
so I said break.
I don't really want it to come back inside this range, like 50%.
I'm assuming that this is a whole order block, and now we're not going to come back into that range very much. So I'm comfortable entering up here. I enter up there. What happens is, you can see what ends up happening is, this is me setting up the account risk rules.
Okay.
We come back, I close the trade, and then I re-enter down here. My stop is still not low enough. Now the only thing I can afford is $500 to $600.
See, I don't know why. Oh my god, it pulls back like. If it works, I'm gonna be so pissed. I'm done trading for the day. That's
there. I was done trading.
Even though it's not a full loss, I'm still done.
It's not a full loss. I did get in for a little bit more. I got in one more time, and then I still couldn't afford the stop at the low, and this was kind of disappointing because the stop was at the bodies, and as you know, what ended up happening was price came down. Let me go out to the low.
I should just wait, but I don't know. I was so scared it would just run off without me. And I didn't want to
price came down to the gap, the area of entry. Stop was at the bodies, and then later in the day,
this should have been the trade I
stopped out. And instead of having my TP here, so this was the original trade that I took.
I got in way too high.
Well, it was
I was scared it went off without me. That's a mistake. That's something I have to journal and be aware of.
No, I think it was. I don't remember exactly.
I can't
what was
the full stop either.
What was the original trade? The one I took on the wrong account.
And you trade on the right account. I took it on eligible previous account from before. I took the trade on this.
There you go. So I got in at 769.5. 769.5. My stop. This I wouldn't have been able to afford this, right? So I had my stop a little higher. I think it was about 30 points at 3 and a quarter. So I mean, this would have still lost, but I would have hit my maximum. Oh wow, I'm risking 1,500 here. So not just that, but I also over leveraged. That was an accident though. I don't remember over leveraging. Cause I went forward and entered properly. After that, or maybe I got in twice. I think that's probably what happened. Maybe I got in twice by accident. Didn't realize that because I was looking at the wrong account. or I just got in with too much by accident. I don't know, but I didn't mean to over leverage there. But still, this wasn't a good trade. It should have been down here, stop at these lows, and then minimum 3 RR.
Risking the rest of the 400.
Targeting this high. Right there. And it would have hit later in the day in the last hour.
I'm targeting the high.
But
yeah,
I had a bad entry.
I should just waited, but I don't know. I was so scared.
And it stemmed from risking too much on the first trade. The first loss, which was fine. It was a good loss. I risked too much. That was this one right here. Nope. I risked too much on that one. Couldn't afford to take the next one. And then I took it on the wrong account after resetting my account so I could afford to take it. I took it on the wrong account. And I didn't even take it properly anyway. But that kind of offset me emotionally, and then I started taking bad entries. I was entering up here. I closed the trade and entered a little lower down here. And I should have just waited till it came into here the first time, and boom. Now if I had waited, I would have risked, let's say 800 on this trade, or 1,000. I would have had 3,000, let's say 2,000. The next day I would have had another 2K, and I'd be only one trade away from passing the account. But instead, let's just say now I was trading on my live, I wouldn't have had this, and I can tell you because I trade live, I wouldn't have had this urgency to pass the account to start making real money. I wouldn't have this loss, I would have lost real money, but at least I would have been like, okay, well, it's not going to be another month or another 2 weeks before I pass the account. And then, even then, I have to deal with payout rules to get access to the money I make. You know, I would have lost the real money, then I would have gotten in with this trade. Whether it would have lost or won, the next day I would have found a winner that would have made up for both these losses if this one would have lost. And it would have been a winning week. It's still a winning week. I still made money on my live because I started trading my live again. But I mean, I don't want to do prop firms. I'm going to take a little break from prop firms. When I go back to prop firms, I will trade it alongside my live because I can't deal with it's going to be another month maybe before I can make money. I want to know as soon as the trade is concluded, did I make money or not? And there's something about knowing that allows you to be more responsible because it's real risk you're playing with. It's no games. And as much as people want to tell you, yeah, you could treat prop firms the same way, it's harder to do it the same way because it's not real money. And when you start trading your live, you become sensible or senseless towards prop firms. You just do. I mean, unless your most of your trading is done on prop firms and you've been only trading that forever, like maybe it could be different, but I don't know. It's more rewarding and makes me feel more a higher sense of responsibility. Man, there's a lot of dust on my desk. I gotta clean it. Whenever I trade, whenever I'm trading my live instead of my prop firm. But anyways, in about 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to get in for NLP. My first model, which is, well, all the rules are right here on this doc. I don't really think I do anything else that day. I kind of just, it runs off in a bit of profit, and then I decided to just leave it. And I just kind of get off. I get off the stream when it starts to run a little bit. And I'm just like, my profit's here, my stop loss there, ends up coming just above that high, short of the profit all the way back down to stop, and yeah, what the fuck. But we're gonna leave that. These are the rules that we're going to be trading today. I showed this to my brother and he saw 10 losses in a row. 80% chance of getting 10 losses in a row, and he freaked out and he's like, what the heck? Right here. Roughly 80% chance of encountering 10 losses in a row. But we're just getting along because we're beneath midnight and 8:30. They're probably going long today. I'm just going to have to wait about 10 more minutes. I'm going to see if I could organize my room a little bit. Let me take a look at some other markets before I do that. We've got S&P and NASDAQ looking about the same. See how the Dow too seems to be a little more excited to go higher. They can line up, that's good. Dollars, just being dollars, consolidating. This looks a little bullish. And well, of course, gold. Almost at 4K. $100 left before 4K. It's exciting. Alright, I'm going to take a 5-minute break, just organize my room, and I'm going to come back to get into a trade in 10 minutes. So it's a 10-minute permission for everybody watching the stream. Take 10 minutes. You earned it. Hello everyone. I'm back. So got about 30 seconds. Looks like we'll have a buy signal. I'm gonna go for a straight 3R. It's about 90 points. I have my trusty Chromebook in hand. Or actually, no. Let me log in from here. Alright, there you go. What I could do also is look for a standard deviation. No, I'm not gonna do that. There is no like, yeah. We're just gonna leave it straight 3R. Not really running. Oh, okay. 9:30 is opening in 5 seconds. That's why. I thought 9:30 had already opened. We'll see if this. We did trend since 6 a.m., but the reason why I don't consider this a trend is because we haven't really. It's been directional all day. We went up during Asia, consolidated overnight. We could be manipulating now lower throughout London or throughout the early morning session, or pulling back into the range Asia made, which is why I'm still willing to. Well, this is why I'm not considering this a trend, because look back at my trade on yesterday. I didn't take this trade even though it won. I didn't take this trade because there was a large trend from 5:40 a.m. But you see how this trend is directional. It's not just from 5:40 a.m. It's from the whole day. The whole day is made up of a large trend. Versus here, the whole day isn't made up of a whole trend. It goes up, consolidates, and then it runs down, consolidates some more, continues to run down. It's not just one direction the whole time. Now, I still think this could very well lose. 9:30 could open up, manipulate, go lower before running higher. But either way, I follow the rules, and we're gonna see what happens. Oh, what's up, Theo? You missed the best part is the stream. For the past hour, I was just kind of reviewing my last stream. If you maybe haven't noticed, I haven't been streaming as much, or as much as I planned to. Because one, I needed a break after Tuesday, and then two, the government shut down Tuesday. Because they couldn't come to negotiations on how funds should be spent. It's not that the government's lacking funds, it's just that the Democrats and Republicans couldn't agree, because Trump is a hard businessman, couldn't agree on how the funds should be spent, a budget plan. So the government is on temporary shutdown, and any unemployment news or inflation news isn't coming out. I think ISM might come out. I heard somebody told me ISM might still come out today. But any of the unemployment or inflation news are not coming out. Oh, nice. You're here the whole time. Okay, so you saw everything. Okay, cool. Yeah, it was kind of disappointing. But at the same time, it's nice to look back on those streams, because it really shows you that my losses were not a byproduct of following my rules. My losses were me doing it wrong. And if I would have followed my rules, then I should have been at a different place, and that encourages me to look forward and continue trading following my rules. It encourages me to follow my rules when I go back and look at that stuff. That's why I stream, that's why I journal, so I can have my data to look back on and journal in a way that's encouraging and constructive towards doing it properly going forward. Oh, I didn't even set my stop loss. The heck. Oops. Time did I enter? Alright, this is possible it's pulling back just to continue going lower. So that's the thing, because it wasn't too clear to me in the beginning of the day. Yeah, looks like I wasn't wrong. It wasn't too clear at the beginning of the day whether from 6 a.m. whether I should define this as a trend or not. Because again, the majority of the day went higher. So this could be a pullback, not necessarily a directional trend in one direction, and the bigger, higher time frame wants to go lower. And there's like a macro going on in a higher time frame. Because of that, I still took the trade. But oftentimes, when in trend scenarios, we'll often see, if we do see profit, it could run very quickly and give us a good amount of profit, at least 20, 30 points, sometimes 40 or 50, and then pull back. Then that was like the pullback. It's the end of the pullback. It comes back. Once it gets back to entry, then it starts to deliver lower past the low. So the idea of putting my stop to break even on days where there's a trend has come up, but this isn't a trend day. I'm just saying going forward, it's one thing I'll be observing in the data. I'll be logging all the trades in which there's trends. Like yesterday, the winning trade, I logged it. Same thing with last week, the trades that had trends in them. Like last month, there were 2 of them where we had a large trend ahead of the 9:30 entry, and I've logged both those trades. So what I want to see is, if let's just say I take the trade, once it runs about 20 points, or as soon as it, creates a new short-term high, whatever it is, certain amount of points, let's just say like a small amount of points, like 10, 20 points, a minimum amount of points that each trade runs to, whatever that minimum is, let's just say it's 20. As soon as it runs to 20 points, I put my stop to break even. And if it comes back on me, I want to see if the odds are whenever it comes back on me, it's going to lose. And if it does come back on me, I shouldn't even, right now I'm not even taking the trade anyway, so it wouldn't matter. It just at least gives me the opportunity to capture pullbacks, get some profits on some of the pullbacks. Because like yesterday's trade would have won. So if I can set something up like that where I put my stop to break even, if I can see that most of the trades that I take after huge trends like this, where we're trending directionally all day, if I can get in and then figure out something with my stop to take advantage of potential possibility of getting a win, even if it's not worth trading, keeping the stop. If I can put my stop break even, then it can be worth trading potentially. So I want to, going forward, observe that. But that's just something I was kind of looking at last night, think of last night with this model. I do really like how we dug lower and we're pulling back. It's always good to see because it's showing that there's a lot of support down here. And this was a pretty big dump, so this could have just been to seek some lows. Yeah. It's just a positive sign if I wanted to go higher. I just now want this gap to be inverse. Now I want to trade through it. What I don't want to be is us being stuck in some consolidation within this range from 941 to 942. Or 940, 942. Because I don't know, today NFP was canceled. There's a lot of earnings coming soon in the next, towards the end of the month. And with everything going on, a lot of people are going to be out of the market. I know that. I'm not really expecting price to move too much here, which is why if it does start moving again, I'll probably break even my stop, and I shouldn't be doing that. It's just, it's arguable that today shouldn't have even been a day to trade because of what's going on with the government shutdown. I've never traded in a government shutdown. The last time it shut down was during COVID, and while I know they're not shutting down for like a bad reason, they're only shutting down fuck, that was a voice crack. They're only shutting down because the like Omar said, the red and blues can't agree. As soon as the Democrats and Republicans can agree on a spending plan, they're opening back up. So it's not like it's a really like an emergency, a bad thing, but I think with the fact that unemployment rate was supposed to come out, now it's not coming out. I think a lot of investors maybe are worried about it being worse. I don't know. It could scare people and or make people be more cautious and stay out of the markets here. So that's why it might not. It might just consolidate all day, and I don't know. Honestly, I'll wait. I'll give it another 15 minutes before really deciding on what I want to do with this trade. But one thing is for sure, I'm not gonna. It's either gonna come to TP or hit my stop. I don't know if I want to move my stop up or not though. So far, it's looking pretty normal though. I mean, the stock market is still open. It's not a holiday. Price is really enjoying hoeing me today. Hey, Nolani, you're in. Good job. Good job. Did you get in at the same fill or a little higher though? How'd you fix your laptop? Stomach. No, my bad. Put on a passport. Bitch, I'm a bad boy. Put her on tap. I'm like broken. It's contagious. Been rapping all night. I counting up daily. Breaking it back. I got it. Is doing the typical thing it does whenever we have sloppy conditions, which is every short-term high it pulls back. This is okay, it's to be expected, and each time it pulls back we risk getting our stop hit, because it's in my opinion I think this is really just consolidation, but I don't know, I could be wrong. It could stop consolidating and start pulling higher. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't really like this trade too much. I don't like to be in. Well, that could also be because of my other model, though I don't like this. But my other model, I never like to trade with in these conditions. I did everything in my power to try and avoid consolidations. External hard drive, nice. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we're just consolidating a bit more, and we're still gonna end up going higher. Who knows? It's holding us. Yeah, it is. Fake me a helicopter and land in Punta Cana. Kicking my feet in the sand, the sun right over the tent. Got me a pretty vibe, she smell heaven sent. In the ocean's purified herself, I feel like Prince. Wanna go and keep getting by, no for sure. You know, got me. We're making enough to feed my family and yours. Days we've been on a whole mission. But Brianna assures you that. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if it pulls back higher here. It could just go and straight hit the stop, but it would just prove we're in a consolidation if it pulls back. If we hit stop, it's going to be exciting though, because hit a milestone will be the first losing week in trading this model. I've only been trading it for 4 weeks though, so, but it's still exciting because like this is like the first actual losing week. I just keep seeing winning week after winning week. Got tired of it. Like, I know eventually I'm gonna get a losing week. This is a 40% win rate anyway, so it makes sense that I would. I want to make it live again. This is also why I'm not rushing to close a trade. No worried or anything, because I know it's probably gonna be losing trade. And there you go. Got filled exactly negative 30 points. And that concludes the week. Once again, we're on a 3-loss streak. Alright, well, I'm going to be playing basketball for the rest of the day. Well, not the rest of the day. I'm going to go play basketball, gym, and then relax or something. I don't know. But I hope everybody's enjoyed the stream. I appreciate everybody who decided to show up and watch. And, yeah. Enjoy your day. And good luck with your trading if you're still trading.